It was supposed to be a simple visit to the bank, nothing more than a routine trip to handle some personal business. But for Olivia Carter, CEO of one of the most successful financial firms in the state, it turned into an experience she would never forget. Dressed in a casual blouse and jeans, Olivia walked into the bank branch she had helped build. It was her company's investment that had turned this place around, saving it from financial collapse years ago. She had sat in board meetings, approved funding, and ensured that this very location thrived. But none of that mattered the moment she stepped up to the counter. The bank teller barely glanced at her before making a face, as if Olivia didn't belong there. "Can I help you?" she asked, her tone clipped, her eyes scanning Olivia up and down. It wasn't just a simple question, it was laced with something else. Doubt. Judgment. "Yes, I'd like to withdraw some money from my account," Olivia said politely, handing over her ID. She had done this many times before at different branches, never thinking twice about it. But today was different. The teller took it, but her expression quickly changed. She looked Olivia in the eye, then at the ID again, and scoffed. "I'm sorry, but I need to verify this. Please wait a moment." Without another word, she walked away, leaving Olivia standing there as other customers looked on. Olivia could hear whispers from behind the counter. She watched as the teller spoke to the branch manager, a tall man with an air of authority. The two exchanged glances, shaking their heads. Then the manager marched over, his face already set with disapproval. "Ma'am, I'm going to need to ask you to leave," he said sternly. "We don't allow unauthorized transactions from unfamiliar accounts." Olivia's stomach tightened. "Unfamiliar? This is my account." She pointed at her ID. "I'm Olivia Carter." The manager didn't even look at the ID. Instead, he crossed his arms and gave her a look she knew all too well, a look that told her they had already judged her, already decided she didn't belong. "I don't know how you got this ID, but we don't tolerate fraud here," he continued, voice cold and unwavering. A lump formed in Olivia's throat. She had faced discrimination before, but standing in the very bank her company had saved, being treated like a criminal, it stung in a way she couldn't put into words. It wasn't just about this moment, it was about every time she had been questioned, doubted, and underestimated simply because of who she was. She took a slow breath, forcing herself to stay calm. "I'd like to speak to someone from corporate," she said firmly. The manager smirked. "Corporate isn't going to waste their time on this." Olivia pulled out her phone. A few taps later, she was dialing a number. The room was silent as she spoke, her voice steady but firm. "I need the regional director at this branch immediately. I'm at my own bank, and I'm being refused service." The manager's face twisted in confusion, then doubt, and then panic. His posture stiffened, and he exchanged a nervous glance with the teller, who now looked just as uncomfortable. Other employees in the bank had stopped what they were doing, sensing that something serious was unfolding. 15 minutes later, the regional director himself walked in. He spotted Olivia, his face turning pale as he rushed over. "Ms. Carter. I'm so sorry, Before he could finish, Olivia gestured toward the manager and the teller, her voice calm but heavy with authority. "These two refused me service. They accused me of fraud without even checking my credentials." The regional director turned to the manager, his expression unreadable. "Is this true?" The manager stuttered, but there was no saving him. The damage was done. Right then and there, the director made a decision. "You're fired," he said simply. "Clean out your desk." The bank teller gasped. "But you too," the director said, shaking his head. "This is unacceptable." As Olivia stood there, watching them fumble for words, she felt no satisfaction in their downfall. She didn't want revenge, she wanted change. And change wouldn't come from firing two people. It would come from addressing the deep, silent biases that still ran through institutions like this. The regional director turned back to Olivia, his face lined with shame. "Ms. Carter, please accept my deepest apologies. I promise you, we will implement better training. We will make sure something like this never happens again. Olivia studied his face, searching for sincerity. I hope you do, she said finally. Because it's not just about me. It's about everyone who walks into this bank and is treated like they don't belong. She turned and walked toward the exit, but before stepping out, she glanced back at the other customers, the employees, the onlookers who had remained silent through the entire ordeal. Some looked embarrassed, others thoughtful. One elderly woman gave Olivia a small nod of approval, as if silently thanking her for standing up for herself. Outside, the sun shone bright, but Olivia felt a heaviness in her chest. She had fought this battle before, and she knew she would fight it again. But at least today, she had made her point. She had reminded them, and herself, that she was not invisible. She walked out of the bank that day with her head high, knowing that the next time someone like her walked in, they might be treated with the respect they deserved. And that, she knew, was worth more than any withdrawal she had planned to make.
Hey everyone, if this story moved you, if it made you think, or if it reminded you why we need to keep having these conversations, please take a moment to like this video. It really helps spread awareness. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below. Have you ever witnessed or experienced something like this? Let's talk about it. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're here to share real, powerful stories that need to be heard. Lastly, share this with your friends and family. The more people who see this, the more we can bring awareness and change. Thank you for watching and being part of this journey. Let's keep pushing forward, together.